Hello, my name is Doris, and I am Little Bird Products. If you've been here before, welcome back, and thank you if you've subscribed already. I'm well on the way to making my 1,000 subscribers. I noticed this morning I have over 900, and if you're new here, please subscribe. I really do appreciate it. What I wanted to do today was, first I'm going to go over what I consider to be an epic fail. Let me just show you how my little bucket hat turned out. This is the lining. Would you wear this? This is the lining, and this is the material that I intended to put around the top. I don't know what to call it, but it sure ain't a bucket hat. What happened was that I used, well, you know me, very frugal. I wanted to use a free pattern. So it was from a new pattern maker. And she had a lot of patterns. I'm not going to name her because I don't want anyone to blame her for this epic fail. But what I found is that at first I thought that the top was too small. Because when I made this first, this has been a modified pattern because I tried to make it larger, because when I first tried it on, I hadn't put the rim on it yet. I put these two pieces together. It sat up on top of my head like a little can of soup. So I thought, oh, that can't be right. It's got to be bigger. So I thought maybe I missed something in there. So I got rid of that. I cut a larger circle, put one more piece in here, thinking, because this is just the lining and it was just a prototype, thinking that would work. And then, of course, I had to put another piece on the bottom because it wouldn't fit. I put that all together and it ended up with this flopsy-dopsy thing. So that's where that's going. Well, I won't throw it away exactly, but I just did that for drama. I decided to try to find another free pattern from a pattern maker that I trusted. So I went out to Mood Fabrics, and I did find a pattern for a bucket hat there that actually comes in multiple sizes. So when I get over my little disaster, I will try it again and show you next week how that works, because I'm not one to totally give up and throw things in my dead pile. But I got to tell you, that was disappointing the day it happened. I can't say the whole week, but most of my week, definitely my weekend, has been a big disappointment. You can tell I haven't even had time to really do my hair today. But I did make, let me start with the good part. I did finish making another French fold shrug. It's reversible and it's super cute. I'll show you a picture of it here. And then I'll have a couple of videos with me dancing around in it at the end. It was a happy make, made my week happy. The only thing that made my week really happy. Then, if you're not interested in my senior rant, you can stop right here, fast forward to the end, and see me dancing around. But I gotta tell you, this weekend I sure didn't feel much like dancing. Let me start at the beginning. My wonderful daughter, and she's very technically savvy, as is my son-in-law. They decided they're going to help me save some money, which they typically do at the beginning of the year. They ask me about my budget. They go through things with me. And it's not like I'm old and don't understand things, but I really appreciate their interest. I think they're preparing for me getting old. My daughter, the good news is my daughter has helped me re-budget some things that have to do with my internet and phone service. And at the end of the day, I will be saving about $180, $200 a month, because of her diligence. Now that's the good part. Now for the rant part. My service right now and then was with Xfinity. And she looked at my bill and she said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, $240. Yes, that's $240. That's internet service." And I had a cable box because I haven't looked at any of this. My husband used to take care of all of this. So I haven't looked at any of this, I can safely say I've never really looked at it. I just kept paying the bill because it was an auto pay. Well, for the 3 years that he's been gone, I've been paying way too much for internet. I never watched cable TV. I had a cable box. I was paying for that. I was paying for internet service, which was kind of ridiculous. I've been paying for his phone as well as my phone, on this. So she says, Mom, let's just look and see what competitive phone plans are. And she says, I know what we pay for our phones and our internet. And they do a lot of streaming. They have a free streaming service that they use also. I don't really care so much for the free streaming services because you have to sometimes wait. And I'm very impatient. I don't like to wait. I like to watch the shows that I want to watch. So the first thing we did, and I'm going to go through this with you because if you're older like me, maybe you never look at this. So I went and looked at all the stuff. I use Prime a lot. And I looked at the stuff that I was signed up for Prime. And I had like 4 or 5 services that I signed up for. And maybe I signed up Paramount, for example. I was paying every month a Paramount fee, but I only watched one show on it, and I don't watch anything on it anymore. And it's kind of interesting because I had like 4 or 5 services listed there. I went through and I said to unsubscribe or turn off those services. Well, the minute I did that, it was kind of interesting. It went from like $6 to $10 a month that I was paying. It came back with a little message and said, oh, if you keep the service, it'll be 99 cents a month for 3 months, and then it'll go back to this charge. And the charge was less than what I was paying anyway, and I'd been paying. I thought, oh, okay, 99 cents, 3 months. I can come back in 3 months, and if I decide I haven't watched it, I can try to shut it off again. Maybe I'll get another 99 cents a month. And very interesting, all of those services, that's the message I got. So just think about it. If I had 5 services, for example, and they were all, let's say, they were $10 a month. That's $50, right? Well, if all 5 of them go to 99 cents, right? That's $5 a month, or actually, $5 a month. For 3 months. Okay, so right there, instead of $50 a month, I'm paying $5 a month. So I've saved $45 a month for 3 months. Oh, and when it comes back, after that, it's going to be less than it was in the beginning. Now I'll let you figure out how to scramble that out and do your own math. That's pretty good math. That's Doris math. Okay, I can go out to lunch a couple times for that. And I eat a lot, so that is a lunch. Then she says, Mom, let's really look at that, $240 you're spending with Xfinity. Well, she says, you're paying for this cable box. Do you watch cable? Do you watch sports on TV? Do you have this? Blah, blah, blah. With streaming service and your other stuff you have, you can watch it there. And I looked at that and I thought, no, I don't use any of that. So let's return the cable box. Let's talk to Xfinity and see what kind of a deal they give you. Oh, on your phones, I see you're paying. Gosh, I can't remember how much it was. It was like, I don't know, $80 or something of that was my phone. Or my 2 phones, one that I wasn't using, but, I still like to have that number. And sometimes I call it and I hear my husband's voice. I'm not going to puddle up and cry. But anyway, it's like, how long do I need to have that comfort? I think it's time to give that up, and get the service shut off for that. And it's time to get a new phone, too, because my phone now, some of the apps I use, if I try to use them on my phone, I can't because I can't upgrade it anymore because it's too old. It's an iPhone 8. My daughter says, well, Mom, a lot of these plans, you can get a new phone and they'll spread it out. And she says, I just got a new phone. And she says, my service is $26 a month and I pay $11 a month for my new phone. And I'm thinking, okay, she's got a new phone. She's paying $26 a month for her service. And I'm paying $60 a month? This is weird, So we go into the store, the Xfinity store. Now I have to say, the young people, even the older man that was in the Xfinity store, very, very nice to us. I know you can do a lot of stuff online, but it's better for me if we go in. Well, my Xfinity plan was in my husband's name, so we wanted to change it back to be in my name. I'm gradually, after 3 years, you'd think I'd done all of this, but I'm gradually getting everything in my name. So we go in, and as I said, I have no problem with the store. They're wonderful. But let me tell you about this experience, and maybe you've already experienced this. They have a great plan, really a great plan, where you can get your phone and, I can upgrade to an iPhone 17 or an iPhone 14, whatever I choose. And I can get, what was it? was it the phone? Anyway, one of the services, it was free for a year. I think that was the phone service, was free for a year. So I figured out, and they would give me a trade-in on my old phone, $400, that's pretty good. I like trade-ins, and I tend to be a little thrifty. But even though I've been an Xfinity plan for years and years, and for the last 3 years I've actually been overpaying, for my internet service. Yes, overpaying, getting less than what I could have gotten for less. And when I looked at that, I just couldn't believe it. Well, right away, he changed some of my internet service, and I got like $25 back or whatever for my cable box, that I didn't have to use that. And for internet service with them, they gave me a new box to plug in. My son-in-law did that. He's great about doing that. Plugged that in, and that gave me much faster service. So I have all of these things that were pluses. But even though I've been a long-term customer for years and I've been overpaying, can I get the free phone for a month? No, because I'm an existing customer. That's for new customers only. Well, isn't that a wada-hooey? So my daughter says, Mom, she says, I just went through this too. She says, what we did, which I did for her, and what we are doing for me, because I want to keep my phone number. I have it all for my business. I have it, all my friends know it and that kind of stuff. I don't want to switch the phone number. So, can they do anything for me? No. So what I have to do is I have to go off of Xfinity for phone service to go someplace else. And I'm doing that. I'm going to go to Boost just because it's easiest and it's cheapest. I'm going to go to Boost for a few weeks. I think it was $25 or something. Not get a new phone, just use my old phone. I have to go through, I really have to, I won't even take you through the hoops I have to jump through to go to Boost. It isn't like an easy thing. I have to go back in the Xfinity store. They have to give me a number, and don't tell me I can do that online, because somehow they say I don't have some kind of a contact information on my account, and I do. I know it's there. I looked. I'm smart enough to be able to get into, oh, by the way, I had to do a new account in my name for my internet service, and I have to close down the old one. Oh, but I can't close down the old one until I'm ready to move to Boost because my phones are on the old one. Okay, so enough for that rant. I'm going to go to Boost. It's going to cost me maybe $25 or $50. I'm just using my old phone. I'm only going there for the service for a few days so that I can shut off my service, go to my new account that I've set up under my name on Xfinity. I'm already on that for my TV, for my internet. I'm happy with the internet speed. I'm also happy with saving the money. And then, after I'm off of Xfinity for phones and I'm on Boost, I can go back in their store, in the Xfinity store, and I can get my new phone. I can get my phone upgrade. I can get my same phone, same number. And guess what? Because I'm coming from Boost, I can get the free phone for a year. Now, isn't that a load of crap? Well, here's what my problem is. Oh, and I did send in a survey and did a little rant about it. I know all of the internet services. Everybody does this kind of gyration where there's deals and they're only for new customers. What about us loyal customers who've been there a while? I think that these stupid companies, Xfinity for one, I think Verizon is like the same way. I'm sure Boost is a little different, but they all have these one-time deals, new customers, all this kind of crap. They need to do something for us seniors. And I don't even care if they do. My suggestion is make a silver 70. So anybody that's over 70, they give them the best deal they could ever think of to stay on their plan. I don't care whether it's Xfinity, Verizon, or whatever. They need to make it easy. They need us not to jump through all these hoops, and they just need to do it for us. They need to treat us nice. They need to treat us with respect. They need to treat us as if we're still here and they see us. This whole thing about when you get older, you're invisible. Well, yes, invisible, that's another word. This old lady is not going to be invisible. And I'm going to keep shouting until somebody hears me. I'm going to have this rant, and hopefully somebody from one of these stupid companies will realize what a scam this is in the making. They should value their existing customers. Maybe they give us a month free for however many years we've been on their service. And when we go in and we need a new phone, they should say, yes, dear, we're going to give you a new phone. It's not going to be free, but you stay on our service for 5 years and it's $10 a month, for your new phone. Something where they treat us nice. They treat us as nice as if we were new coming in. And, how do we get them to listen to us? This is just all totally stupid. And, with the graying of America, there's more and more of us older people. What if one of these companies woke up tomorrow and had a Silver 70 plan, which is the best plan you could ever hear of, and whatever system they're on, even if they're an existing customer or they're coming in from someplace else, they make it easy, they do it all for us, they get us set up, and they make sure it works. Yes, can I hear a round of applause for that? Go and look at your internet bill and whoever your phone service is. If that's a challenge for you, find somebody younger that's used to doing that. The neighbor next door, somebody's grandson, have them come over and look at what you're doing. Somebody you trust. Be careful not to get scammed, but have them look at you and see what's happening. You might be overpaying just like I was. Anyway, I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks, and I will let you know how it goes this next week. I am waiting for my SIM card to come from Boost, and then I've got to go to Xfinity, and I got to get a number so that I can get off of their service and get on Boost, and then come back, because I can go back in the store then, like 2 days later, and have me go back on their plan and get a new phone. You all need to check that. And you need to make sure that they're not making you go through hoops and gyrations. Check that you're using what you pay for. And if you're not using it, get rid of it. The first thing you can do is, if you're on Prime, go and look at all of the Prime services, the stuff you're paying for, and look at do you use it? And if you don't use it often, like my daughter did this, and it's so funny. She said, I watched all the segments of the series that I watched from the streaming things for Paramount. And she says, until there's something new back in there, she says, I don't need it. She said, so I just shut it off. And, I was going to shut it off too. But like I said, I got that deal, 99 cents for 3 months. And then when that 3 months is up and it's going to be where I have to pay again, I can decide, did I really use it or not? And then I can truly shut it off. It's easy to turn it back on again. So look at your internet bill. Look at your phone bill, decide if you want to stay there. And if you don't know how to do it, and you don't know, what you're doing when you go in the store, have somebody go with you. There's no shame in asking somebody to go along. I have to have somebody go along to be my ears, because I don't always hear and understand correctly what everyone is saying because of my hearing loss, my hearing disability. So it was wonderful having my daughter there, except that I have to tell you this, because I used to be in the software industry and I do understand things, technology. I just don't always hear what people are saying. My daughter, she turned to the side and she told the little rep from Xfinity that was talking to me, she says, don't let mom pull the wool over your eyes. She used to be a software executive. She understands. She just doesn't always hear what you're saying. So don't let her play the old lady card on you. But, like I said, the representatives in the store were really nice, but there's some things that are company policy, at Xfinity, and the way they do things. I don't know if it's their marketing department or what, but it is abysmal. And it's not just them, it's pretty much all of them. So if you found a phone company, an internet company that does a better job and that really provides good service, for seniors, let me know. I'd love to know that. But as far as I'm concerned, the ones that we looked at, they're all pretty much the same. They've got kind of a scam running that's for new customers only. And I think they should make an exception for us, Silver and 70. So that's what I'm going to call it. When somebody comes out with a Silver and 70 program that makes this easy, I'd be very tempted to move again. So that's it for the rant. And thank you for watching. And if you've watched this far, thank you for listening to my rant. Please put in the comments what your experiences are. And I encourage you, whatever service you're on, make sure you look every year and check that you're getting what you paid for and you're not overpaying, because I sure didn't do that. And man, think about it. If it was, let's just take simple math. I know I saved at least $150, but let's just make it $100. That's $1,200 a year. I've been doing that for 3 years. Yeah, what I could do with $3,600, that's Doris math. Yeah, yeah, just think about it. Well, you might say, gosh, Doris, you were dumb. You should have looked at that before. And I would say, yes, Doris was dumb when it came to this, but I would say that I was numb. I haven't had a chance to really, I've been through about everything now. And now I've finally gone through one other thing that my husband used to take care of, and I was just ignoring, just riding along as if, everything was copacetic. And thank goodness my daughter and son-in-law are there to protect me from myself. Anyway, watch next week and see what happens with my bog hat. Or I should say, I'm making another bog coat. I am, because I really liked how that turned out. But I am going to try to make another hat. We'll see. We'll see if it turns out to be another abysmal failure. And if it is, no more hats for me. Bye. Success! Success!